When you need a quick and easy appetizer, whether it's for a crowd or you just want an afternoon snack, the sausage and cheddar balls are so incredibly easy to make. They are flavorful, cheesy, with a little bit of crunch. Let me show you how to make them. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. Today's recipe is a super easy appetizer, and it's a sausage cheddar ball. I'm gonna use the Ninja Foodi indoor grill for this, but we're using the air fry setting, and any air fryer will work perfectly for this recipe. In fact, I tested out the batches in my Ninja Foodi 6.5 quart using the basket, and it was perfect. So same setting, same time, same everything, okay? All right, so the first thing we wanna do, because this is whipped up quickly and it air fries quickly, is we wanna get our air fryer preheated. Now in the Ninja Foodi pressure cooker and air crisper, I usually go on the broil setting. It's the hottest setting, and I just like to get the basket really super heated. But here on the grill, I'm just gonna go to the air crisp setting and preheat, but I'm going to preheat for a full 10 minutes. So I know that it's really preheated for a full 10 minutes, I'm gonna bypass their automatic preheat. So I'll show you how to do that in case you're gonna use the grill to make this recipe. The first thing I wanna point out is that I have the air crisping basket inside the grill. Whatever air fryer you're using, make sure that your basket or your cooking surface is inside during the preheat, because you want that to be heated so your sausage balls don't stick. All right, so let's go ahead and close this. And now we wanna go to the air crisp setting. We're gonna go all the way up. Now, I'm not gonna cook this high, but this goes up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, same as the broil in the Ninja Foodi, so that's what I'm gonna use. So we wanna bypass the automatic preheat. So hit start and then hit the preheat. It'll say add food. We're gonna go up with the lid, down with the lid, and I'm gonna take my time down to 10 minutes. And that way I know that I'm gonna preheat for a full 10 minutes. Now, I will let you know that you can whip this up in less than 10 minutes. So if you wanted to, you could set your time for 20 minutes and then just adjust your temperature at the end. All right, let's get to making the sausage balls. So the first thing we're gonna do is add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour to a medium-sized mixing bowl. And then we are gonna add in some butter. This is a 1/4 cup of butter. It's cold butter, and that's important. You wanna make sure it's cold. And we're gonna dump that in, and it's in like little slices. Or you could freeze it and grate it if you want. It's kind of like what you would do when you're making biscuit dough, because that's what holds the sausage and the cheddar together. Is kind of like a crispy biscuit. It's, oh my gosh, it's so amazingly delicious. Then we're gonna add in our 8 ounces of sausage. This is breakfast sausage, the kind that comes in a tube. You can use any type of sausage that you like, no problems. This is just a regular, pork sausage, minimally seasoned. But if you wanted maple, if you wanted to add a little sweet into this, add some maple sausage in. You could use spicy sausage, whatever you want. Just get creative and use whatever you want. All right, now I need to get my pastry cutter, because remember, we're kind of making like a little dough. So what I'm gonna do is go through the flour with the butter and the sausage. You can either do this with a pastry cutter or you can do it with your hands. Either way is fine. In fact, let me show you how to do it with your hands in case you don't have one of these, because I'm gonna end up using my hands anyway to get it off of here. So let me just show you how to do that. It's really simple. All right, there we go. Okay, so let me show you. Just using your hands. Just mix and sort of break up the butter and the sausage and let it combine with the flour. Now, you don't want to overwork this, because you don't want to melt the butter in your hands or anything like that. You want the butter to still be solid when you form the balls, because that's what's going to help give a nice light crunch of a biscuit to our sausage balls. And it also helps prevent them, as the butter melts, it helps prevent the sausage balls from sticking to the pan as well. All right. Now, if you didn't have an air fryer, you can absolutely make these in the oven. You do the exact same way, preheat your oven, and then just bake them probably on about 350, 375, maybe even 400. You might be able to go up that high. and bake them probably for about 15 to 20 minutes. You want the internal temperature to be higher than 190, okay, to make sure that they're done. But it's just quicker, I think, and easier in the air fryer. Okay, so once you have it all mixed up, and you can see I have most of the flour incorporated, and it's just kind of a little mixture here. Then we're gonna start to add in some wet ingredients and some seasonings. The only seasonings that I'm using in this recipe is a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of fine ground sea salt. I find between the cheese and the sausage, there's really no need for anything else. But hey, you wanna get spicy with it, add in some cayenne, add in some smoked chipotle powder, add in anything you want, really. You can get real creative with this. All right, next in is 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup of sour cream. So I'm just gonna put that in. 2 tablespoons of 1/2 and 1/2. Now it's up to you if you want to keep using your hands. Since mine are dirty, I'm just gonna keep using it. Fold it over until the kind of a dough starts to form. Get all the way underneath to get any of that loose flour. And then about this point, I add in the cheese. This is 4 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese that I freshly grated. I recommend freshly grated cheddar in this recipe, but you could use, the pre-shredded if you wanted to. I'm just not sure how well it will melt. And part of the deliciousness of these sausage balls is that when you bite into them, you've got little pockets, a little ooey gooey cheese. So it's wonderful. Now, cheddar is not necessary though. You could use any kind of cheese you wanted. You could put pepper jack in here. Again, if you love spice, you can do all kinds of things. So feel free to experiment with that. All right, so when it forms together, just like a dough, okay, just like that. There's no more loose flour. That means we are done and we are ready to form our meatballs. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands because now I'm done with the messy part, and we will form I said meatballs. It reminds me of meatballs. They're not meatballs, they're sausage and cheddar balls. But anyway, we'll form those with a scoop. And we should be just about preheated. Look at that, it took just over 5 minutes to mix this up. So see, it's so fast to do. So now it's time to form the sausage balls. I'm using a large scoop. This scoop is from Pampered Chef. You can use any scoop you want. It's about 3 tablespoons is what you want. So if you don't have a scoop, don't worry about that either. Just measure out 3 tablespoons and roll them in your hands and you'll be fine. So I just scoop out a little bit, and then what I do, because I don't mind rolling them, I just roll them into a little ball. That's optional, you really don't have to, but I just find that they look nicer that way. And then you just repeat until all of the balls are formed. And remember, the most important thing is not to overwork the dough here, okay? I'm calling it dough. I don't know if that's technically the case, but that's what I'm gonna call it. If for some reason your kitchen is very warm and you start to see that your sausage is getting really warm and your butter's melting, you're having a hard time forming the balls, just pop this back in the refrigerator until it firms up a little bit and then resume. The other thing is that you can make these up ahead of time and you can freeze them uncooked and then cook from frozen. I would do the same temperature, which we are gonna do is 350, but it might take a little bit longer, of course, because they're frozen. Or you can cook them and then freeze them and then just thaw them and just heat them up in the air fryer or in the oven. So they're really versatile the way that you can make them ahead of time or make them in less than 15 minutes, really. Well, 20, I'll say 20. Now we're almost coming up on our time here. Can I get the rest done in 30 seconds? Maybe if I stop talking. I know I'm getting some cheers. Some people are saying, yeah, stop talking. All right, so it makes about 18 to 20 or more if you wanted to make them a little smaller. But I find if this is a great size, they do shrink a little bit, especially if you want to dip them, okay? Because you can hold on to the ball, dip it in your sauce, and not get your fingers in the sauce. So I find this to be a perfect size. All right, let me go rinse my hands. We'll get these into the air fryer. We're gonna air fry at 350 for 10 minutes, and we're gonna flip at 5. All right, I'm gonna do a quick spritz with avocado oil. You could use whatever oil you like. Just a quick little spritz. I just do that because I really don't want them to stick, and I'm always nervous that they're going to. I know, I'm closing the lid. I'm being cautious because we didn't preheat. I preheated, but then I was busy doing some things. So I'm gonna go back to air crisp. We're gonna go to 350. Take our time to 10 minutes. I'm gonna hit start and see if it tells me to add the food right away. That'll let me know if I've reached that temperature. See, I've lost some heat, so I'm just gonna let it heat back up, and then I'll get these sausage and cheddar balls in there to air crisp. All right, so they're all in the air fryer now. We can close the lid. Make sure you have a little bit of separation so that they don't fuse together while they're air crisping. And now we are gonna let it go for 5 minutes, and we'll do a little flip, let it go another 5, and we're done. But we're not quite done because we've gotta make the delicious dipping sauce. Oh my gosh. Let me grab those ingredients and I'll be right back to show you how to make that. All right, time to flip. Oh, they look amazing. Amazing, amazing. And they are not sticking at all. Oh, how wonderful. We're getting brown on the bottom. This is gorgeous. So anyway, just flip them all over, close the lid, and go another 5 minutes. All right, so let me finish measuring these ingredients out, and then I will tell you what they are. Just a little bit more honey. There we go. All right, so a 1/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of a spicy mustard or Dijon. This is just spicy mustard. Any mustard that you like will be fine. And then 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. So basically you can make as much or as little as you want of this. Just stick with those same proportions and it will turn out amazing for you. And then just stir it up, mix it all up, and you have got a delicious dipping sauce for these sausage cheddar balls. All right, so with just a little under a minute left, we are going to check a temperature real quick because we want to make sure that they're getting to a good internal temperature. I like to see them over 190, which they are. So let's just keep this going and we'll be ready to take them out and let them cool for a few minutes. All right, there we go. We are all done. Oh my gosh, they look so good. So now I just like to take them out and put them on my cooling rack. So just go in there and grab them, as many as you can without them falling off. And throw them on your cooling rack. Oops, or your counter, whatever works. Oh, that one stuck just a little bit. Let me get the rest of these out, and then I'll get that one out. Sometimes the cheese, because the cheese comes out so you can see it, and so sometimes the cheese gets just a little bit stuck there. Every once in a while it'll go down in between those little cracks. You can see it sticking up a little bit, so that's what made it stick. That just depends on how they're rolled, so there's really no... I mean, you could prevent it if you made sure all the cheese was in the inside, but who's gonna go to all that trouble? All right, so now I wanted to show you that there is a significant amount of grease down there. That is both from the butter and from the sausage, so I don't want you to worry about that. It's actually Goodness, some of it drained off, right? So, ready? Let's go. All right, so if they are perfectly cooked, they should be soft, with just a little bit of crispiness. As you pull them apart, you can see some of the cheese oozing a little bit there. That's exactly what you want. And of course, we know they're cooked all the way through, including that raw sausage, because we've got to an internal temperature of over 190, which is perfect. They are so delicious and so easy to make. Use whatever sausage you want. Use whatever cheese you want. Use whatever dipping sauce you want. As always, make it yours, make it delicious, and keep it real.